Redemption for Lando Norris. What an incredible weekend he had. Well done to Lando Norris, who is redeeming himself after what took place at the Canadian Grand Prix. The man gets pole position in Austria. He's topping the charts in qualifying, and he's topping the charts when he was driving in the practice sessions. And not only that, he overcame what he normally struggles with in Q3, putting that lap together. Now, albeit he might have had a bit of help because Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen, people like that, had to stop and slow down because of yellow flags, thanks to Pierre Gasly. But Lando had it locked in. Lando was locked in all weekend long, and he overcame the hurdle on Saturday. But more impressively, Lando Norris overcame the hurdle on Sunday. Started on pole position, lost his place only once for about 3 seconds, where he went toe-to-toe with Mr. Oscar Piastri, his teammate, the championship leader, Oscar Piastri. And this is I don't know if this is a statement, but it was very, very important for Lando Norris to win this race. It was very, very important to come back in such style after a DNF in Canada, after where I declared that this title race is well and truly finished. It's over, and nobody else is going to tell me otherwise. What was very important of Lando Norris, however, is to not only top the charts in Q1 and Q2, but to get pole position in Q3, where it matters most, and then to start the race on pole and to win the race. It was phenomenal. It's a statement because going toe-to-toe with Oscar Piastri isn't something that Lando Norris has been doing often, but when he has, the first time he really had anything, which was in Canada, which was for a P4, by the way. It's not like it was for P1 or P2, like we did this weekend in Austria. But he failed that hurdle last weekend in Canada, or the weekend before. He failed that hurdle. But this time round, the guy showed up, he showed out. He put everybody on notice, just in case you're doubting him, that guess what, ladies and gentlemen, I am here. Oscar's not going to win this title easily. If he's going to win the title at all, it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to go through me, Lando Norris is saying. That was the statement he put out there. And it's not like he didn't have any battle with Oscar. Guess what? He battled Oscar on Sunday in Austria. And it speaks volumes, that speaks a hell of a lot of volumes, because to go toe-to-toe with Oscar was, before the race, in fact, Oscar's weekend was a bit, nothing really to shout about. There wasn't necessarily anything in particular that made me think, do you know what? Oscar is well and truly here. But in the race, all of a sudden, I saw this man with pace. I saw Oscar Piastri giving Lando Norris a hard time. An unbelievably hard time, because the title is on. Oscar Piastri understands that when he starts P3 in the Austrian Grand Prix, in which his teammate Lando Norris starts P1, I better make sure I am there. I need to make sure I am there early doors with Lando Norris. And Oscar did a phenomenal job by overtaking Charles Leclerc very, very quickly, dispatched the Ferrari, so that it could be him, Oscar versus Lando Norris. But you know what, Oscar? Lando Norris lived up to the billing. Lando Norris stepped up to the fight. He attended the match, and he matched you in that. And in fact, did better in the end. Sure, there was a bit of luck here and there in terms of a bit of fortune regarding the blue flags, or lack thereof, with the back markers that was going on. I mean, there was a couple of occasions where Lando Norris could have been taken out, as well as Oscar Piastri. But that's besides the point. Because what was very important is that Lando Norris redeemed himself as to what took place in Canada. Lando Norris has redeemed himself, worthy of having a conversation about a title race. As far as I'm concerned, the title race is done and dusted, it's over. However, the way for Lando Norris to sneak back into this conversation, at least from a perspective of how Oscar Piastri might think, is moments like what took place in the Austrian Grand Prix. It's moments where, when things are not going well in terms of the season, can I put it on pole in one of my favorite circuits? Both mine and Lando Norris's favorite circuits. You know, Lando Norris has been phenomenal in Austria, and many people were thinking, hang on a minute, why are we giving Alex Dunn the first practice run in Austria? Lando needs this. But I tell you what, Lando's probably telling everybody, listen guys, calm down. This is my circuit. This is one of my favorite circuits. If we go back to that pandemic season in 2020, do you remember what Lando Norris did in that final lap? Last lap Lando, do you remember that one? Yeah, podium business, you know? So Lando Norris likes this circuit. And, you know, last year when he was going head-to-head with Max Verstappen, you know, remember, he was going head-to-head with Max Verstappen. Bear that in mind, right? And, you know, unfortunate what took place. But this weekend, he had enough. And he's sick and tired of hearing what people had to say about Lando Norris all season long. If you've noticed, Oscar Piastri has been getting a lot of praise, and much deserved. Because Oscar Piastri has been doing his thing. He's been delivering. After what took place for him in Australia, if you remember, when that spin happened, what did he finish? P9? A disaster at his home Grand Prix. But this time, you know, and since then, Oscar Piastri went on a crazy run. A crazy one. How many race wins the man's got this season? Nearly at the halfway point. What, 4 race wins? Solid stuff. Solid stuff from Oscar Piastri, at least 4. Lando Norris has had a disaster in Canada. An absolute disaster with a DNF. And if you want to shut critics up about mentality this, mentality that, this is the way to do it, because he did it in style. And as much as there was fortune in qualifying with the yellow flag and everything else, guys, Lando Norris was on a different planet on Saturday. He was on a different planet for qualifying. But can he hold his nerve on Sunday in the race where it matters most, where the points are collected? And Lando Norris got 25 points at the Austrian Grand Prix. Starts on pole, wins the race. That is the best way to respond to any critics, to anyone talking. By the way, I'm one of the critics, okay? I literally said that the title race is over, and I still believe it is. But the way Lando Norris has come back and got pole position and won the race from pole, it creates the seeds of doubt in Oscar Piastri's mind. At least we can now say, when it came to head-to-head, Lando beat Oscar in in Austria. Lando beat Oscar in Austria. It rhymes, it's lovely. Lando Norris has put a statement out here this weekend in Austria. He's put a massive statement. The week before the British Grand Prix, where there's going to be, what, Lando Corner or some sort of Lando area. It's going to be that luminous green and black. There's going to be a whole stand. The British Grand Prix is going to be phenomenal because it's going to be hot weather-wise, as well as the clash between Lando and Piastri. It could be very, very interesting. This could get sensational. This title race. If Lando Norris can keep his nerve. The only way I think that this title race is not over is that Lando Norris has to do what Oscar did when Oscar went through that turmoil in Australia, right? And Oscar was putting 3 wins in a row, 4 in 5. He was putting race wins on the table. Can Lando Norris do this? Can we see Lando Norris putting in this kind of shift? That's what remains to be seen. If Lando Norris can put it together and go again at the British Grand Prix, pole position, race win, oh my God, we have our title race back. We have a championship. You know what I said about Max Verstappen, that he was already out because of the car and everything. Well, guess what? A DNF ain't going to help him. Thank you very much, Kimi Antonelli. That was a shocker from you. But to the topic at hand, Lando Norris redemption tour begins now. It begins right here, right now. Can Lando Norris capitalize on this? Because mentally, at least mind games, he's currently got the upper hand. If he capitalizes on this, Oscar Piastri still leads the championship. But I tell you something, if Lando Norris can go again, like he did in Austria, and go again at the British Grand Prix, oh my God, we've got a phenomenal title race on our hands. It's the redemption tour. It begins now. And Lando Norris has earned and deserved the right to have one, especially after that performance the weekend of the Austrian Grand Prix. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Is this title race back on? Was it never over? And are we all happy? If you're happy that Lando Norris has got this redemption today, I say today, this week, at the Austrian Grand Prix, smash a like on the video. And if you're loving more Formula 1 content like this, YouTube thinks you'll like this video over here, so make sure you go ahead and click that. And until next time, well done, Lando Norris. Lights out.